Coming up, Senator Justine Wadsack. She lost in the primary barely to Vince Leach, a huge rhino. I don't like Vince Leach at all. He's not good. She lost, and part of the reason that she lost is because there was looked like a giant media hit job. She got a speeding ticket. I've never seen more media attention for a speeding ticket. Well, now it looks like Senator Wadsack may be suing the Tucson Police Department. Going to talk to her and her lawyer about this. This is huge. It's coming up right here on your Afternoon Addiction. Lewis with you. It is your Afternoon Addiction. 550 KFYI in Phoenix and KNST AM 790 in Tucson. So, when the big primary took place in July, there was an upset. Vince Leach defeated Justine Wadsack, Senator Justine Wadsack, in the primary by just a little bit, and it basically looked like it was on the heels of such negative news. I mean, just weeks and weeks. It was like 3 weeks of a negative news cycle. It was as if it was planned. Senator Wadsack got a speeding ticket. And it was months before that she got the speeding ticket. And then all of a sudden, Tucson police leaked out body cam footage, and they made it as if nobody has ever gotten a speeding ticket before. And they made such a big deal about a speeding ticket that it looked like it may have had an impact, and it definitely, in my mind, had an impact on the election. So today, Senator Wadsack and her attorney, Brad Miller, who happens to also be the guy that won the Pinal County Attorney's primary, and there's no Democrats, so he'll be the next Pinal County Attorney, which is excellent. Brad Miller were down in Tucson. They had a press conference today, and it sounds to me that they are going to go after the Tucson Police Department, and maybe even more. But let's talk to, hey, Brad, thank you. We'll talk to Senator Wadsack in a second. Brad, I mean, tell me what's going on. Like, somebody gets a speeding ticket. I've never seen anything like this. In your mind, how bad was the Tucson? It looked to me like Tucson police was in cahoots with the media to try to take down Senator Wadsack. Brad, are you there?
I think you lost Brad.
Oh, so we have Senator Wadsack. So I'll ask you. We'll get Brad in just a second. It looked like you, unfortunately, got taken out by that 3-week news cycle of incessant craziness about this. So what were you doing down there today? What was the point of the press conference? What are you going to do to respond?
Well, today was my arraignment because, and just so you know, I never got a ticket. That's, I think, the biggest issue here is I was pulled over, but I never actually got a ticket. So it was a traffic stop. The police officer let me go. And then once, things start, going along with all the primary election, brouhaha, they started to realize that I was in the lead, and now I'm starting to, get phone calls from the Tucson police that I need to come in and sign for a ticket from 4 months prior. And so I'm going to let Brad talk more. Yeah,
I was going to say, let me jump. I like you, Senator Wadsack, but let me jump to the attorney on that. Brad, is that normal? Like, what? All of a sudden, a speeding ticket that was never issued, and then all of a sudden you have to sign for something. Like, what? It seemed like it was a complete coordinated hit job here.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and thank you for having me on the show. This really implicates constitutional issues. A ticket is not just a ticket, especially when the Arizona legislature is in session. And in this case, Senator Wadsack was in session. And so what the Tucson Police Department decided to do is they decided to endorse her opponent. Then they decided to leak the information to the media. And then they decided to issue her a ticket in that exact order. So this was a hit. This was purposeful, and this was meant to affect the election, which in fact it did.
So what are you going to do about this? Is there going to be a lawsuit? Are you going after Tucson police? Anybody else?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, we're fighting the ticket itself. We've received a lot of hate mail online saying you should just pay the ticket and get it over with. But what they don't realize is this. This is not just a ticket. They're actually charging her with a crime, and they're trying to put her in jail. This is so far outside the norm and outside the mean of anything that I've ever seen, especially for a person like Senator Wadsack, who has an absolutely clean record. That's what they're doing here.
Wait.
So secondly, what we're going to do is we're going to be filing a notice of claim.
Okay.
against the Tucson Police Department, specifically the mayor, the chief of police, and the Lieutenant Pettey, who directed the officer to sign this ticket after it was leaked to the media a week and a half prior to the primary election.
Can I go back, if you don't mind, Brad? And Brad Miller is Senator Wadsack's attorney. You're confident there, over a speeding ticket. Now, granted, she was driving fast, apparently 71 to 35, but a speeding ticket out of all the issues in Tucson, you're confident they're trying to throw Senator Wadsack in jail?
They've charged her with a Class 3 misdemeanor. They have not given her a diversion offer. They've not given her an offer of traffic school, which every other defendant I've ever seen. And Garrett, I've been doing this for nearly 17 years. They haven't given her any offer. We went to court today, and they said no offers on the table. And so, again, this is so outside the norm. Not only that, but in Tucson Police Department's own policy document, which we will be showing in our notice of claim, they specifically say that legislators have immunity in their own policy document. So they shouldn't have issued this ticket. They knew she had senatorial plates on. They looked at those plates. They pulled her over, and they decided to sit on this and wait until right before the primary election and then send her a summons charging her with a crime, not just a speeding ticket, but a crime. And let's just make this, if people don't realize, if people listening don't realize, the reason why there's kind of an immunity, right, is because who knows if a lawmaker can call a police officer, a chief, or a friend and have another lawmaker pulled over and arrested, so they'd have to miss a vote. Like, that's the whole reason that is there. It's so they can do their job, right? Absolutely. And it also protects against harassment. And the Democrats like to talk a lot about following the law. Nobody is above the law. Well, neither are police departments. And this law, which is a constitution, it's a constitutional statute, specifically limits the authority of police departments, specifically the Tucson police, from issuing this particular ticket. And that's why this whole thing is appalling. It shouldn't have happened. And that's why we're going to be asking questions of the mayor, the chief of police, and the lieutenant who was involved in this. Wow, the mayor too. Can you hang on for me, Brad and Senator Wadsack, because I want to ask you more about this, because now you brought up the mayor, and I have more questions about this. This is really, what evidence, you think you have or maybe have uncovered. How can you find out who did this? You talked about the one officer. Can you hang on for me for one more segment, if that's okay? Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you very much. We will continue with Brad Miller, Senator Wadsack's attorney, and Senator Wadsack right here on the Afternoon Addiction. Garret Lewis with you. It is your Afternoon Addiction, 550 KFYI in Phoenix, KNST AM 790 in Tucson. I don't mean to not talk more to Senator Wadsack, but I have to continue with her attorney, Brad Miller. I am just, my mind is blown right now, Brad, that they are, you're an attorney. You've seen this. They're trying to throw Senator Wadsack in jail over a speeding ticket. Again, just really quick. Normally, this is handled how? Like, all right, you got caught speeding. We're going to plead down to this. Is that how it normally works? Yeah, absolutely. So typically in Arizona, you're offered an opportunity for driving school, where you wipe a ticket off your record. You're typically allowed to do that at least once a year, and you maybe pay a little bit of a fine, and the issue is done. You're typically not issued a criminal summons, and that's exactly what happened. They wanted to serve her with process, bring a criminal summons, and they have decided today to not give her any offer at all, not the offer of traffic school, no offer just to pay a fine and for this to be over with. They have pushed this to the criminal court. We're actually setting a trial date coming up here in about a month. What? So that's how far this thing is going. Who made that decision? Was it the Tucson City Attorney? Yes, it was a Tucson City Attorney, but you have to remember, this whole thing had to go up the chain of command, and we have some evidence that it went all the way up to the chief of police to make this decision. And we also believe, and we're going to be seeking discovery in this matter, that the ultimate decision was made by the mayor. Because the police officer that pulled Senator Wadsack over, I'm sure he's a very nice and good police officer, but he knew that there were issues of immunity in this case. So he called his chain of command, and that's where the police chief gets involved. And he was directed to do nothing at the time. Senator Wadsack was not issued a ticket back on March 15th. The ticket and the criminal summons was issued a week and a half prior to the primary election, after the police chief and the police department leaked to the media that they were going to issue her a criminal summons. That's why this whole thing is shocking, is we have law enforcement, we have our government getting involved in manipulating elections.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be allowed. It should not be allowed.
No. So that's the whole thing. So if I got caught doing this, would they have given me a ticket, or how would that have worked that way? What is with this criminal summons again for a speeding ticket?
Yeah, so what would have happened is they would just issue a typical speeding ticket, like many of us have received, and then you get an opportunity to go online and go to driving school. Most of the time, you don't even have to go into court. You just pay the fine or go to driving school, show your proof, and the issue's done. They don't issue you a criminal summons where they're going to send out a process server to go embarrass you wherever you are, and then force this issue to go to a trial. And that's where we are right now. That's why this whole thing is shocking.
So, and all right, let's go back to the mayor thing. So you're going to ask for discovery. So you're going to want all the mayor's communications, I'm assuming with the police chief or anybody else, right? Or emails, text messages, you name it.
Yeah, and this goes back to our understanding of law, is that we have the issues of law. We have issues of supremacy. The Constitution stands at the very top. And so we don't believe constitutionally that the police department, the Tucson Police Department, had the authority to issue this ticket. And they also had baked into policy, their own police policy, that this ticket should not have been issued. So we believe that Senator Wadsack was singled out. And one of the principles of law is equal justice under law. And so she was not treated equally as other people would have in this particular circumstance. And so that's why we're going to be filing a notice of claim, and we're going to be seeking discovery. That includes emails and depositions of these individuals who were involved.
And let's go back to so the police officer pulled Senator Wadsack over, but then this woman, you mentioned her name, she got involved, and then she claimed she was recording a conversation between her and Senator Wadsack, but then she claimed she didn't record it, but told the media, oh, Senator Wadsack said blah, 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 without any proof.
Yeah, correct. And not only that, we have no proof that Senator Wadsack was in fact going 71 miles an hour. I've requested multiple times for the discovery and the evidence. They've produced a police report. They've produced some summaries, the CAD report, but they have yet to produce any type of radar or evidence that Senator Wadsack was in fact speeding.
Wow. This is all brand new news. So there's no evidence she was speeding. None of that. You've asked for it. They can't. They either can't provide it or won't provide it. That makes no sense. If they were doing everything on the up and up, they should have just given it to you. And so I also heard, if you can confirm this, that what was her name again? Not just the officer, but the one above that supposedly had a conversation on the phone with Senator Wadsack. What was her name again?
Yeah, Lieutenant Pettey.
That she got promoted right after this.
She did. She's now Captain Pettey.
Wow.
And so we're going to be asking questions regarding that, whether the promotion was in any way connected with this particular matter or not. But we certainly want to put this Captain Pettey now under oath to determine whether that is in fact true.
And again, you have evidence. You believe you have evidence. Can you share any of it? How the mayor, Regina Romero, may be involved?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we have some of the narratives where the police officer specifically speaks to his chain of command and asks, I believe this person is under immunity. What do we do in this circumstance? And this particular police officer, after the information was leaked to the media, was directed and required to go in and draft this criminal summons. And so that type of behavior can't happen without top level directives occurring. And so we believe that the police chief certainly was involved, and something like this definitely goes to the mayor's office. We also have people who have come forward and spoken to us privately, which we will be disclosing, who have said, yes, this type of decision came from the mayor.
Wow. That is bombshell stuff right there. So you're going to hopefully sue all these people, the Tucson Police Department, maybe the mayor, anybody else you're going to sue, and you're going to hopefully get, obviously, look, in America, our justice system works with, cash to compensate you for damages, right?
Yes, absolutely. But the biggest issue is this. The biggest issue is we don't want our own government manipulating our elections. We don't want our own government manipulating how people believe or think and putting out false information about people right before a primary election. If they truly wanted to issue a ticket, they could have issued a ticket in March, then Senator Wadsack could have fought it. Or they could have waited a week and a half till after the primary. But now we have our own government trying to manipulate our elections. after they've endorsed a certain candidate. And they're releasing bad information and, to me, false information about the other candidate. That's what's happening, and that's probably the bigger story here.
Wow. And it stinks, right? Nothing can happen. Can't go back on the election. The votes are the votes. Just maybe major manipulation. But, I mean I'm sure there's no Arizona revised statute against this, right?
Yeah, unfortunately not. But what we can do is we can continue to expose, much like many individuals here in Arizona and President Trump himself, exposing what our government is in fact doing. And I think the people have the right to know, and they want to know.
Okay. Really quick, Brad, and sorry, Senator Wadsack, but really quick, what is the next step? What does the timeline look like?
Yeah, so we go back to court in October, late October, just actually set a trial date. Hopefully by that time we'll have conducted some discovery, where then we should be filing that notice of claim here within the next couple of weeks.
Wow. Well, please be in touch. We need to let the public know what is going on here, because I'm sure the local media is not going to do a good job. They have no idea what's happening or how to ask questions. So, Senator Wadsack and Brad Miller,
sir.
And congratulations on your win in Pinal County to be the next Pinal County Attorney. I look forward to hearing what happens. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much, Garrett, and thank you, Brad. I appreciate both of you.
You got it. Thank you very much. We will continue this is an insane story. More on this, and Kamala, complete choke job today. Interviewing again. Are we better off now than 4 years ago? Her answer is incredible. It's coming up on your Afternoon Addiction. Oh, wow. Garret Lewis with you. It is your Afternoon Addiction. 550 KFYI in Phoenix, KNST AM 790 in Tucson. Just some huge news broken over the past, 25 minutes or so. Turns out, if you're just tuning in, Senator Justine Wadsack, who lost a primary race to Velcro Vince Leach, a horrific rhino. He really is. He's a terror. He's not a good dude. He's just a bad rhino, lobbyist-owned state. He was a state senator. Yeah, I mean, he was the chin bra. I call him that because he would always wear the mask, and he told people at legislative district meetings just to shut up and wear the damn mask. He actually told that to current state representative Cory McGarr. And he'd go to the meetings and want people to wear the mask, and then he'd pull it down below his chin. I'm like, he's trying to hold his chin up like it's a bra, like the mask is a chin bra. I'm very creative. So anyway, Senator Wadsack lost a nail biter. Should never have happened. It looked like it was a coordinated effort because, again, she got pulled over for speeding back in March. There's legislative immunity for every single lawmaker, and I just told you why, because that way they don't get intimidated, they don't miss votes, all kinds of things can happen, right? It's just incredible what is happening with the evidence that her attorney said. That he's like, this is crazy. For a speeding ticket where they don't even give the evidence to her attorney that she actually was speeding, they don't want to just offer her, go to driver's school and that's that. They want to throw her in jail. They charge her with a Class 3 misdemeanor. And the fact that this is, according to her attorney, Brad Miller, going all the way up to the Tucson mayor, Regina Romero. And I listen, I've been told that the Tucson police chief, I believe his name is Chad. Oh, what is it? Kasmar or something like that. Whatever. I've been told that he's actually okay, but if this guy is letting this stuff happen, where they just go after a politician, and then the lieutenant that supposedly, he had a police officer pull over Justine, and then months later, this lieutenant supposedly called Justine. Claimed to the media she recorded the call, but when it was over, apparently she didn't hit the right button and it wasn't recorded. But she swears, Justine Wadsack said all this stuff like this is political persecution and this and blah, 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 and lawfare. And the media just ran with it. And every media outlet, and I've been told, by the way, you ready for this? I've been told that there was so much attention to this. All these news stories claiming as if Justine did something so horribly wrong. It was a speeding ticket that the city of Tucson and the police department can't even turn over the evidence she was speeding. I've been told that there was, with all the news stories against her about this, all 3 Tucson TV stations, a local paper, and it came up to Phoenix as well with the TV stations and the crap paper that's here. It was it was worth $8.7 million in negative ads against her.
Wow.
In a state Senate race, a primary. $8.7 million is what I've been told. And then she lost by a very slim amount of votes. A very slim amount of votes. And this obviously is, according to her attorney, he says he has the evidence. Not only the evidence, but people. I guess you could call them whistleblowers, right? That told him that, yeah, the mayor, Regina Romero, it's my accent, Regina, is the one that was involved in saying, yep, do this, go with it, to try to change the election. Why? Because they didn't want Justine, who is a hardcore MAGA conservative, back in the state Senate. They'd rather have a weasel like Vince, or what they're hoping for is that a bunch of Republicans stay home and don't vote for Velcro Vince. And they can finally get a Democrat in that seat. Telling you, that's how diabolical these people are. So this is huge stuff, and it's not going away. And it seems with what's been happening that Senator Wadsack was clearly targeted. And it was a political hit job. And they leaked out all this stuff to the media to run with it because they all worked in cahoots to try to get rid of Senator Wadsack. It's really sick. If you missed any part of that interview, I will have it up for you on my channel in just a little bit on the iHeartRadio app. It's a free download. Search Garret Lewis, and you can see it for yourself.